Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Tower of God Chapter 610 or Season 3 Episode 193, and I've been saying for the past few weeks, I've been like, okay, I already know the chapter scores that have been going on from the Korean release and everything, and there were some incredibly low scores, and then some very high ones coming up, and the high ones they've been going on for well over 10 chapters by now, and I've said I don't want to spoil anybody when that's supposed to start, who hasn't seen, who doesn't want to know. Those of you who have read ahead will already know much more than I do, but apparently we're going to be getting into some really good stuff, which is very exciting. And even for those of you who don't want to know, I can at least say last week's chapter was the lowest rated chapter, maybe in the entirety of Tower of God, which makes me breathing a sigh of relief, because honestly, I didn't hate last week's chapter. I liked last week's chapter. I thought last week was funner than the two before it, even. I mean, we got the stuff with Dumas that I thought was fun. I thought that fight was entertaining. There is an issue that goes on a little bit where I think I was watching Naya's reaction and he's like, there's just so much happening, there's so much clutter on screen, and there are times that I feel like, okay, we'll get a panel of somebody about to do an attack, about to shoot a Shinsu beam or something, then you'll notice that in a lot of my reactions I'll be like, and there's another panel of the Shinsu beam, another panel, and there'll be like 3 or 4 extra panels of just the same Shinsu beam going on, and I'm just like, we didn't really need those extra panels. It gave me as a reader no new visual information. It didn't convey anything new or different, and so I think that's another issue of clutter that can happen sometimes in the combat, but then sometimes, especially recently, the combat's been very good. Bomb versus Ren, I thought was really good. Even before that, before going into the hiatus, I thought that the way that a lot of the fights at the end of the nest were done were really good. Some of the fights we've had, like the Yuri and Tiara stuff, was solid. I thought the Mate and Jam stuff was really good, actually. So there's been a lot of good stuff. But yeah, it can be a little bit cluttered. And then some of the panels where you have 3 of a character or something, I saw other people with their reactions getting confused, like, whoa, is there more than one elephant now? And again, if it's a panel of Bomb doing that, we know, okay, there's not more than one Bomb, so it's clear to show motion of him weaving through attacks or something, but it's a little bit more difficult when it's like, we don't know this elephant, so it's easier to get confused there. But I also, as you can see from the figures behind me, this side actually, sorry, mirrored because of the camera, I also read Hero Academia, where the action can sometimes be damn near incomprehensible. Horikoshi's not always the best with that, so again, I'm used to worse. But yeah, I really didn't mind this. I think Dumas is very fun. I'm really enjoying the Dumas stuff. Plus, we ended on this kind of cliffhanger of, we're going to be getting some Traumerei and Holin relationship stuff, which I think is going to be interesting. Maybe not saying it that way makes it sound weird. Not like deep relationship stuff, but we're going to have the characters together interacting with one another, because Traumerei can't just straight kill him now. So that is something that's going to turn out to be, again, I overused the word, but interesting as well. So I had fun with last week's chapter, and I was thinking about Dumas a bit. And because I saw some people wondering, is this his true form? I think whatever this purple body thing is, it almost, to me, feels similar to Yasracha's transformation. Maybe it's copium. I still think we're going to have a human form Dumas, and I think he's maybe going to look a little bit more similar or close to Gaston. Maybe he'll be like an old grizzled child of Gaston in a similar way that Lobadan is that, but for Traumerei. But then again, we got Proust, so who knows? What is Proust? How is Proust? But with any of that, yeah, I was just thinking about that, and it's because most of Traumerei's kids, or people we presume are his kids, most of his family, they have green or greenish hair. They look kind of like him. Same goes for a lot of the people in the Pobedao. But then Pobedao's got some real weird ones. But then at the very top, each of their kind of number 2 in the family, Kirin and Proust, are both who was their mom? You think that about each of them. But then when I was sitting around before recording today thinking about Dumas, thinking about last chapter, things I might say when I started recording, it got me thinking. I was like, hold on, something that may be obvious to some of you and something that some of you may have already been thinking finally just now hit me, where I was like, so we got LaFave, and is LaFave Lobadan's daughter, Laura's sister, and the mother of Kadede and Catan? Because I had always thought it was weird that we kind of had that blank space, that empty void in the family tree, because it's like we were introduced to Lobadan, we get introduced to his 4 grandkids, Kadede legitimately says that he and Catan's aunt is Laura, then we get introduced to Laura, who's the father of the twins, and then there's that blank space there. But I think that blank space might be LaFave. And the reason I'm thinking, again, most of the kids and family members of the Lopobia have green or greenish hair, but much like Lilial, both LaFave and Laura are blonde, and they both have this, like, the cat-like triangular upper lip that Siu draws them with, which is something that I only remember those two having. Those two, does Siu draw Shasha's lips like that? I don't remember. But that's something that, like, only the two of them have. They're both blonde. And so I was like, they are Lopobia. It's maybe a bit of a stretch. But then I thought about it more, and it's like, it's one thing if there's, like, something that's similar or connects her to Laura, but there wouldn't be anything connecting her to her children, Catan and Kadede. But then I'm like, no, she kind of does the same sort of fighting as Catan, because she uses sniper rifles, rocket launchers, she uses guns, and then we have Catan, who also uses, like, we've seen him with, like, shotguns, rifles, and, like, the anti-air guns, but I don't know if that's necessarily his ability, or if that's just something that their army has. So her and Catan would use the same sort of abilities. So I actually think LaFave might be the other child of Lobadan and the mother of Catan and Kadede. That's just something that I got to thinking about. And I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to say before I continue reading. I think the only other thing I wanted to say, I've talked a lot about me watching Amy Angel's reactions featuring Dr. Bonehead. And, you know, I'm almost caught up with all of those that I missed and didn't see, so I'll be catching up to Pyro Primas that I didn't see, so I'll probably be talking about that a lot once I'm caught up here. But one thing that Joe talked about was he was like, I pronounce it Shinhui. That's probably not right. Haku says Shinheo, but I thought he used to say Shinhui, and I did, and I still kind of go back and forth sometimes. But something that he said that I agree with, he was like, I could have sworn it was Hueh. Me too. I don't know if it was misspelled like that, if I just misread it a bunch of times, if it was misspelled that way like once, but I latched onto it, but I could have sworn it was Hueh for like the longest time. So that's why I said Shinhui. That's why I get a lot of pronunciations wrong, and I wanted to bring this up in video because as kind of the first person that was doing Tower of God videos, Dr. Bonehead said, like, he watched all of my old videos before he started making his, and he kind of picked up a lot of the way he pronounces things from that, and for that I am deeply sorry, because I have mispronounced things so much. But it's because when I started reading Tower of God so long ago, I was just like a high schooler. I had no concept of Korean or how any of this should be pronounced, and I swear it was Shinhui. But I, at one point, noticed it wasn't. I put it in, like, the actual Korean, put it into Google Translate, and it pronounced it as Shinhail, so I started pronouncing it like that from there on. But I think that any of you out there, most of you watching this probably don't speak any Korean either, so I think it's perfectly fine to just pronounce things how you want to pronounce them. The same goes for viol. I say viol all the time. It should be violet, and honestly, not only should it be violet, but it should have a silent T at the end of it. It should be spelled like violet, but pronounced violet. But the official translation doesn't do that. Even the scans didn't do that, or the old company translation didn't do that either. And I think it's fine to say things however you want to say them, because, I mean, look at the official translation. We know it's supposed to be Zahard, but they are determined to stick with Jihad. We know now it's supposed to be Andorthi, but they say Endorsi, which is honestly to be completely fair, I think Endorsi is closer to the Andorthi it should be than Andrasi, but even the old company translation was Andrasi, so those were both not quite exactly how things should have been. In addition to all of that, I mean, in no world should Shin Wanryu be Shinsu Black Hole Sphere. In no world should that be the case. So if the official translation is going with some of these, then I think it's totally fine to pronounce things however you want to pronounce them, spell them however you want to. I have very often gone back and forth between Andrasi and Endorsi. I just say whichever pops into my head at the time, or whichever fits with whoever I'm speaking to or about. I really should. I've tried to say Andorthi more, but nobody says Andorthi. Nobody says that. So me saying it is like the one person. But yeah, either way, long Haku intro aside, I wanted to bring up that translation stuff just because that was something that, hit me, and I was like, I want to talk about that just because I feel like a lot of people have probably mispronounced things because of me. But I just wanted to say, yeah, Shinhui versus Shinheo was something that I messed up on somehow, because I could have sworn it was spelled the other way. Again, I still say Viol wrong most of the time. But yeah, either way, all that aside, just neat extra Tower of God stuff, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and start reading chapter 610, though. Again, I'm really, really excited to see where the story goes, especially now that we've kind of got out of where the dip was in scores. Like, we're still not to the great heights that I've seen going on for a long time in terms of scores, but we're kind of out of the dip. Again, we've gotten past the lowest rated chapter, and it really wasn't that bad. I didn't mind the rack stuff. Any problem that I have with the rack stuff is wider problems with Tower of God as a whole, and I really didn't dislike last chapter at all. I thought last chapter was solid, so I don't know what everybody was on about for that one. So either way, let's start reading this week. We have a violence warning. Who knows what it means? Last week was pretty violent. What chess piece do you have? I'm terribly sorry, my lord. We have Holin and Dromare, but I have the king. We saw this last time. He steps forward to him. You have the king, you say? Yes, Lord Tromare. Show me. Here it is, sir. He brings it out. It's true. Take good care of it. Yes, my lord. And he's gonna just leave him to it, I guess. I already have my king. In that case, it's time to look for Gastang's king. Follow me. Yes, sir. Somewhere else inside the sprout. Okay, fine. It has been so long since we've seen Andorthi. I remembered it because I just talked about it. It has been so long since we've seen her. And she's just sneaking around? Is the coast clear? Dang it. Censorship. I know this place is crawling with rancors, but it's not like me to sneak around like this. Alright. Still? And she holds her peace. Okay, is she the king? Maybe. That looks much more like the king than the seahorse knight, so I'm assuming she is. I honestly never expected to be in this situation. I can't believe. Okay, definitely. Confirmation now. I'm the one with Pobedal's king. Season 3, Slay the Chess Pieces 5. We're still on Slay the Chess Pieces. We have blood erupting up. Oh, it's from the koi fish. R.I.P. koi fish. We have Dumas here. Wait. What is juice stance? Hold on. I surrender. It wouldn't make sense for us to fight anyway. We're on the same side. Just immediate flip-flop. What makes you think that? I'd be running, just booking it out of there and hoping that he didn't care about me enough to kill me, rather than trying to reason with him at this stage. Because we've already sided with Pobedal's army. You sided with Pobedal's army? That's right. Before joining this game, we decided to leave our family and join yours. That's what we and that guy Belarir decided on. And he's silent. Belarir. He's the second in command on Pobedal's battleship. Is he the one behind all this? Oh, no, never mind. I thought that was Damas thinking, but it's Kun. You're saying you betrayed your family and sided with second in command Belarir. Exactly, we're on the same side now. Our family leader doesn't care what happens to us anyway. He just stays in his room all the time. We hardly ever see him. Even in this war, at the request of Zahard's forces, he was going to send us to You betrayed your own family and family head for such a trivial reason? I see now. You people are scum. Oh my god. Damas. What? Just think of the power you've enjoyed until now, and the safety of yourselves and those... Because again, they are branch leaders of a great family. As far as the tower goes, they have it easy. And the safety of yourselves and those around you. Who clothes you, feeds you, and gives you a place to sleep. You wouldn't have anything without your family head. A stream that's forgotten its source has no reason to go on flowing. A flower severed from its roots can never bloom. And this is kind of what Kun was thinking, but more edgy. You people are like a stream without a source, or a flower with no roots. Man, Dumas is like really legitimately so cool. Scum like you doesn't even deserve to exist. When he first showed up and everybody was looking at him like, oh, this goofy guy, he's really the third in the family. I don't think anybody expected all this out of him. Scum like you doesn't even deserve to exist. You're really getting on my nerves. And she pulls out a bunch of other fish guns. I didn't come here so that you could lecture me. He gives us no choice. We'll have to fight him. And then we have, again, the fan halberd elephant ear thing. Okay, Jew. Really, Tump has gotten nothing in terms of, like, development, talking about things. We have Rosario sending out the spears. And they all fly in. They are about to get absolutely demolished. Okay, I thought she herself was going to get shredded, but it's just her weapons right now. We have the Talon coming in towards her. Gah! And then Crunch. You son of a... And he rushes. Oh, man. And just the shadow of the Talons on Tump's face. He screams again as we have him getting splatted off screen. And the rumbling. Yeah. Yeah, and he just tears his head off and flings it to the side. The Lopobia family's done. They're down. I don't know how many survive at this point. I mean, I guess, again, if Traumar gets taken out, Lobadan becomes the new family head or something, maybe Lobadan's family becomes the new, or they probably wouldn't be a great family at that point, but they become like the remnants of the Lopobia. But it seems like most of the family's cooked. Like, they're done. He's missing both arms, and yet he totally wiped out those two branch leaders. How is he so powerful? He looks back at Kun. There's one of the chess pieces. Okay, so the knight is down because Tump is dead. The craftsmanship and materials are... he's noticing, are completely different, so Kun's ploy isn't going to work. I knew it. This is different from your king. And then... that king of yours is fake. You're a liar. A few minutes earlier. I don't understand. Bomb and Rack. Okay, we're seeing them again. How can this be? How did you break out of that ice? Screw capturing you alive. I don't care if I kill you. He goes in with an attack. Just die. And then the ice bear is going in too. Bomb's using Leviathan. Okay, we actually see, like, Leviathan's head fully out here. And the two powers are clashing. Seems like it's not going the way of Wee Wee here. Right? And Bomb goes down towards the bear. Looks over. Oh, Rack actually comes towards him. Rack? And then Rack attacks him. Okay, I kind of feared this. This is kind of disappointing. I was hoping that it wouldn't be a situation where Rack is, like, completely unaware. Like, maybe he'll get out of it and be like, I wasn't in control of my actions, but I was still aware. But I don't like the idea that much of Rack getting this power-up for this one specific situation and then being like, oh yeah, I don't remember any of it whatsoever. It's not the worst thing ever, because then I guess it keeps Rack from being too strong unnecessarily. But I feel like CU also kind of already pulled that out with the Bomb versus White stuff in a little bit of a different way, but it was similar to that. So I don't know. I don't know how big I am into this. And then, yeah, as he gets knocked back. Okay, more shots of the two of them. Rack, has he lost control of himself? He's roaring. Rack, snap out of it. Rack. And it looks like the blood's coming in to try to grab him. That blood. It's holding him back. Haha, he's gone so wild that he even attacked his own teammate. What a wonderfully wild beast. And she ends up binding him. The more I see of him, the more badly I want him. He looks back at her. And breaks through it again. Okay. What happened? How did he break free? I mean, he already did this at least once. He forms a rock club on his arm this time. And then brings it down, crashing into her. Ah! And he's repeatedly slamming it into her. Rack, I can't leave him like that. I have to stop Rack somehow. And I wonder if, because Rack is using actual, like, primordial earth abilities rather than earth-flavored Shinsu, I wonder if that makes him resistant to something like, or any of the people that use those primordial, like, ancient abilities. I wonder if that would make them resistant to reverse flow control. Bomb ends up behind him. He touches his face. We have a flash. He staggers and collapses back down in miniaturized form. What a relief. I think he's okay now. But anyway, I guess Bomb just touching people works, because it's unclear if that was reverse flow control. He just kind of made a light flash. So, who knows? I'm going to have to take the chess pieces from those two. And we see Wee Wee and Rashid are both down. Huh? And Rack wakes up. What happened? I heard that blood-covered turtle's voice and then passed out. I don't remember anything. Again, if anything, why isn't this the lowest rated? This is... I don't know. I'm not big into this. Turtle? Rack, you're awake. Are you okay? I'm fine, but what about the fight? What happened to those two arrogant turtles? You don't remember? We won the fight and everything turned out well. We got their chess pieces too. We won. But how? I'm starving, and he collapses. Oh? Honestly, we need the content warning for Naked Rack. A few minutes later. You're saying this is where Kun threw you off the edge as bait. That's how you two were separated? That's right. That blue-haired turtle tossed me right off the edge without even a second thought. He's eating. Aside from that person who was chasing you, where'd Dumas go? I'm not sure. He didn't come after me. Then Kun could be in danger. I guess so. They feel a rumble. Let's go. I think I hear a fight nearby. They take off. What do you mean? I don't understand what's different about them. This one just looks different because it's the king. No. This piece's materials and workmanship are far more sophisticated than that king of yours. It appears refined at a glance, but this piece is the work of a far more experienced craftsman. They would never use a less valuable piece as the king. You're a liar. Again, why would Dumas really care, though, that much? Because, again, he's still one of Gaston's pieces, so shouldn't he be like, okay, you wasted my time, bye, and then go because he has more pressing matters? That, or if anything, just, again, still just stay around Kun because Bomb will make his way to him eventually. Shoot, that guy's a hell of a lot smarter than he looks. Kun! And then Bomb comes in. Bomb? What are you doing here? And then Bomb and Rack land with him. Dumas. Irregular. I finally found you, and that's where we end. Okay, so the stuff with Traumeré at the beginning was cool. The stuff with Dumas was cool. Man, it's it's tough to read the Bomb-kun and Rack stuff sometimes. It's tough to say that about the main characters of the series. Hold on, let me show you the credits. It's tough to say that about the main characters of the series, but oftentimes, I even mentioned it like last arc or whatever, it feels like the stuff without Bomb on screen is like some of the best stuff CU's been doing at times, but then everything with Bomb on screen is kind of just sometimes. Like, I don't know. I think out of the 4, this is probably my least favorite chapter of them. I don't think the Rack stuff is necessarily that bad. Again, it's not ideal, but like I said about the previous chapters, problems I have with the Rack stuff mirror problems I have with Tower of God as a whole at this point. So it's not the worst thing ever. It's CU trying to go too big too quickly and then trying to justify why he went big or had to go big after the fact. Man. But I don't know. Just having him not remember it, I think it can work because it can serve as like a hint of what Rack's capable of in the future. But as for right now, he can't just pull it out anytime he wants. But CU also just did that with Bomb and the Bomb and White stuff. So it's like he's just rerunning that again in a way. And Bomb was more conscious of what he was doing there, seemingly. Then again, there's a certain aspect where he was a little bit just acting on instinct, a little less conscious of what he was actually doing. So it's slightly different, but it is kind of just the same sort of thing again. And Kun tricking Dumas and Dumas's reaction is like, it makes sense. He's like, you lied to me, this sucks. But at the same time, I don't know, like, he shouldn't really want to kill Kun, nor should Kun really fear being killed by him, because just logically speaking, that would be a dumb thing for Dumas. So, I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where I can't really say much now because we just, like, literally ended in the middle of an encounter. So, like, I can't, like, I don't have enough information. I have to wait and see where this goes to form, like, fully formed thoughts on it. But at least for right now, I do think this is probably my least favorite chapter of the 4. But even then, it's not horrible. I like the trauma ray stuff at the beginning. Dumas just wiping out 2 of the branch heads. Bomb and Rack taking out Rashut and Wee Wee. Again, I didn't think a crazy amount of Rashut and Wee Wee, but it feels like it should have been maybe a little tougher for Bomb. It maybe feels like Bomb untransforming Rack, we didn't really have an explanation. I wish we would have got Bomb being like, okay, I need to attempt to use reverse flow control in order to stop the transformation. Or if he's like, oh, I need to use Shinwan Ryu because this is a special power and I need to confront it with my own special ability as an irregular. But he just sort of touched him, some light flashed, and then he's untransformed. And I almost wish that even if Bomb doesn't have that hard a time with Wee Wee, I kind of wish we would have had more of Bomb and Rack fighting. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think that actually would have made it better. If, say, Bomb actually struggled to untransform Rack, like Rack transformed was an actual problem, I think that would have been better. Because now it just feels like Bomb almost kind of trivialized Rack's transformation because he's like, oh yeah, let me just get in there. He's trying to attack me, but let me just get in there, touch his snoot, and light flash, he's fine. So that, I don't know. We'll have to see where it goes. But again, I'm expecting good things in the future. This, I expected to be contentious, at the least, given how low the past couple of scores were. But yeah, I think last chapter was fine. I don't know why that's the lowest one. This chapter, my least favorite of them. But again, I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. It's just sort of, I just have some issues with it. I just have some qualms here and there. But either way, that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's chapter, my first thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more, Tower of God, much more on the channel. I said last time that I was going to be doing another discussion video, but I didn't have time last week. So hopefully this week I'll finally have time and I'll be able to do that. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be sure to share everything around as always. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. Just ask and I can give you a link to that. We can talk there. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can drop a super thanks down below to help me to continue to make videos. But if you want to not only help support the channel, but also get shoutouts at the end of every video, get One Piece videos a bit early, then hit join down below to become a channel member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are already patrons and channel members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan, Holly, Magical Girls, FR Nono and Abyss Knight, Cherryton Students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Pate Ardiawl. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.